Now that gets you excited. Wonderful name. A name that is higher than any other name. There's some names, if you're sick, gives you fear, brings fear. But his name brings fear. His name can clothe the fields with grass. It's incredible who he is. He can do all things. Those things that we look at just happens, but it don't just happen. It happens in his name. Because his name is magical, powerful, wonderful. Just knowing who he is and what he stands for. Sometimes we don't give him enough praise and credit for who he is in our life. God's our God. The Alpha, the Omega, he is our beginning. As long as we hold on, he'll be our end. Mr. Walker's getting ready to come and bring you the Word. I know I always say it all the time, the Word is what changes us. When we know what God is speaking and know His Word, then we can change. I thank you for the change that I've had. It didn't happen overnight. It's a process of learning who He is, learning about His name. Come on, Earl.
Oh, it's truly been a great place to be. He is here today. And, wow. Kind of getting this together, and I was thinking about how Christmas humbles us. And it's almost like when the new year comes, we're kind of revived or refreshed. Or a lot of us makes resolutions that we don't keep. Every year we say, well, I'm going to get in shape, or some of us are spiritual. You know, we tell ourselves we want to be at a certain level by summer, or by next fall, I want to be right here in my growth with God. And then storms come across us. And we tend to forget what we made a promise for, or we tend to forget. I think this year, I'll be honest, I think I made it to about September this year. And I was kind of tickled because that was kind of a long way to me and the Lord Josh, I felt like. And then I kind of felt like I faded a little bit towards the end of the year. So next year I want to do better than September. All right. And that's what we need to be. But first, before I get started, I want to thank everybody that's here today. If you're visiting, on behalf of our pastors, I know they are thankful you're here today. If you're visiting for the first time. And don't think because it's just a visit that nothing's going to happen. Because that's how it started with me, was just a visit. About 6 years ago, I just made a visit right over there. And you can be a Christian or not a Christian. I was a Christian for almost 20-some years and thought that I was at the plateau of my Christianity. And little did I know by just paying a visit that you start something all fresh and new. So it don't matter how long you've been in it. It don't matter how long you've been doing it. It don't matter if you've even done it yet. Well, that does matter because you need to do it. But there's a start, right? So we're going to be in the book of Mark today, chapter 6. And it's a passage and a text that we all know, but we're going to look at it maybe a different way today. Hopefully the Lord will let me bring it out that way. And we'll see how it goes. And we may do two things and we may go somewhere else, but there's one thing that I have understand with Him. I'm a follower, aren't you? I'm a follower. And it goes with preaching, it goes with living, it goes with my daily walk with Him, it goes with every decision to make. I'm a follower of His. And let me find it. All right, 35. We're going to be down in 35. And it says, and when the day was now far spent, His disciples came unto Him and said, this is a desert place, and now the time is far past. Send them away, they may go into the country round about, and into the village, and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. He answered and said unto them, Give ye them to eat unto them. Shall we go and buy 200 pennyworth of bread, and give them to eat? He said to them, How many loaves you have? Go and see. And when they knew, they said, 5 and 2 fish. And he commanded them to make all sit down by company upon the green grass. And they sat down in ranks by hundreds and by fifties. And then he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. He looked up to heaven and blessed, and broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples to set before them, and 2 fish divided among them all. And they did all eat, and were filled. And they took 12 baskets full of fragments, and of the fish. And they who did eat of the loaves were 5,000 men. And a little bit further down, it talks about where he told them to get in a boat and get in it, put the 12 baskets in, and they did that, and then a great storm came. Number one, these people was hungry for the Word of God. They was hungry for the Word of God. It says they was in a desert place. They was following the man out there to listen to him teach. They was hungry for the Word of God. Don't it say in Deuteronomy that man shouldn't live by bread alone, but by the Word of God? These people was hungry for something. Today, people are hungry for something. In our communities, they are hungry for something. People that are here today, they may be visiting. People might be here today, but they know deep down that they are hungry for something that they need, right? We must remember that the miracle always begins with what you have. The miracle that you're looking for in your life, it always happens because you've already got it. It's already inside of you. Lost or saved, it's already inside of you. In other words, there's a place for God in your heart if you're lost. Christian, there's already something inside of you that's already in place inside of you, but we just got to tap into it. The miracle always begins with what you have. And what did they have? They said, well, Christ asked them, what do we have? Well, they looked around, and there was a boy there that had these 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish. And the next thing that I want to talk about, as we're talking about this little boy, is God uses people that other people don't count. He always uses people that everybody else looks over. The Bible says that they was 5,000 men, and back then they just counted men. But everybody knows and how they study that between the women and the children, that it was probably between 15 and 20,000 people. So there was about 15,000 people that wasn't accounted for. There's people here today that sit in this sanctuary thinks that they're not accounted for. There's people in our communities every day, and even in our families, they think that they're not accounted for. Let me tell you right now, you are accounted for something. Even though you think you've had a long road and a hard road, even though you think that God don't hear me, even though you think that God don't understand me, you are accounted for something. Because why? Because He made you. You accounted for something. You are important. Even though somebody says that you're worthless. Even though somebody might say that your job don't matter. Even though you think that I just drive the Sunday school bus and I don't matter in this ministry, or I just teach children. Let me tell you something. You matter to God's eyes. Everything that you do in His glory for Him, it is blessed by it. He loves you today. You are accounted for something. As this little boy was. Of all people to have it, a youth had this fish. We must also know that the best miracles take time. There's people today that's going through something, and they don't totally understand it. We all have sick loved ones. We all have buried people in the last couple of weeks. We all have suffered disasters the last couple of weeks. But let me tell you something. The miracle takes time just a little bit. And He told them that He said, well, I'll tell you what. He said, separate them now in groups of 50s to 100. And you know what? I thought about that just a little bit. Why did he separate them for? Well, if you think about it, everything that God does needs order. It needs structure. It needs discipline with it. And he told them, he said, have them to separate in groups of 50s and groups of 100s and have them sit down in the grass. Well, if you think about it now, the disciples didn't know what he was going to do, but Christ knew what he was going to do. He knew that it was going to be easier to serve people if they was always in there. That's our problem sometimes, that when God gets a hold of us, or Christ is in running the show, that he says we're going over here, and we say, I'm too afraid to go over there. Or he says we're going up here, well, I'm too lazy to get up there. Our lives have got to have structure and order in order to have the blessing that's going to come from him. A lot of times we say that we want something, but we got to be able and willing to handle it. He's not going to give you extra if you can't handle what you got. I know times in my walk I've said, Lord, hit me with this. Do me with this. And he says, well, son, are you doing this? And are you partaking with that? And I'm like, no, I'm not, Lord. He says, well, son, how are you going to get up here if you can't handle what I've got you at right now? How in the world can I get you up to this stairway, this next level? If you're at this level, you're on, you're tearing all to pieces. Clean your room up, son, and then I'll get you to the next level. That's where we got to be sometimes. Be grateful. Even what you have is not enough. And right here, hit home on me a little bit. Be grateful for what you have. You know what? When I started all over about 6 years ago, you know what I found out, Sherry, in the last few days? I wasn't grateful for what I had. Where I was in my life, and what I was doing, and what I had. Now, are you saying that he take it all away? Well, I don't know, but he could have. But you know what? I'm living better and prospering better now, and I love where I am. So you know what? It's for Aaron Walker's good of it. A lot of times we're not grateful for what we have. And we're not, and it's almost like, you know what? I want more. I want more. But you know what? He will never bless us with more than what we're wanting to attain if we're not grateful for what we have. How in the world can we pray for a spiritual gift if we can't pray for the brother? How in the world can we ask him for a higher gift and a higher level if we cannot humble ourselves down and quit judging people and pray for people and love for people? We have to humble ourselves down just a little bit if we want something more from him. We must be grateful. And that's what it was. They were grateful for what they had. With these 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes, they was grateful for it before they blessed it. And after he blessed it, he started doing something with it. The blessing is in the breaking. If you're not willing to let yourself be broken, you'll not be blessed. If you're not willing to let him get a hold of you just a little bit, if you're not willing to let him tighten you up just a little bit, tighten your tie up and straighten you up and tell you how to walk, if you're not willing to do that for him, how in the world do you expect him to put you up here somewhere?
Good word.
You got to be willing to let yourself be broken. Now listen to me, church. The devil will play through your mind right here. Because while God is breaking you, Kathy, you think in the world that you've done something wrong. You think that God's casting judgment down upon you. Well, this hard road that I'm on, what am I going through? Why has he put me through this? Why am I feeling this way? You never know that he is breaking you for what he's going to do next.
That's it. Breaking the mold for new. Amen.
He's got to break you, Captain Barker, to get you to a higher level. He's got to break you, Jason Litton, to get you a higher level. He's going to, I'm telling you what, when you're on the Potter wheel, he puts his big hands upon you and you're uncomfortable. All of a sudden, we like to be floating around and just go, woo-hoo, praising the Lord a little bit. And we like to be uplifted. But as soon as them big God hands get upon you, like, what's got a hold of me? Oh man, this is a hard road to hoe. But I'm telling you what, He's working with you and He's breaking you because you know why? He's making you stronger for what's coming next for you. We got to be willing for the breaking. Because you know what's about ready to happen? It's about ready to multiply what He's doing in your life. It's about ready to be multiplied, Sherry. Just what He was getting ready to do. In order to feed everybody, He had to break the bread. And as He broke the bread, He would give it to the disciples. And He would just keep breaking. He was over here breaking and hanging out. He kept breaking from the same stationary. It wasn't like there's a big old pound in church. Listen to me now, right now. It's not like He had a pound. He kept throwing it out. It kept coming from the same source. The same source, the same love, the same fish. He just kept handing out, Sherry. And in just a little power He was, just kept dishing, kept breaking dishes. But you imagine His arms of feeding 5,000? Through God, all things possible, ain't it? You think, well, how big of a crowd was it? Well, I think Rupp Arena down there holds about 18,000 people. Imagine that whole place filled up down there. That's who He was feeding that day. Breaking hand, breaking hand. And you know what else? He didn't hand it out. Because Kathy, when He broke it, He said, "Here, Peter, you go that way." He broke it here. He said, "Here, John, you go that way. Here, Simon, you go that way. Here, Luke, you go that way." And what they do? They just kept handing. They just kept handing. They just kept handing. And what you was receiving through them is from the source.
Yeah. There you go.
Here's the next thing. What He gives you is going to flow through your hands to people. We're not the source. Let me tell you something right now. As soon as you get yourself out of the way, big things are going to happen in your church this year in 2019. If we get ourselves out of the way where it's flowing through us, you talking about families getting saved. You talking about broken homes being arranged the way they need to be. If we're willing to let the flow come through us that comes through Him, hey, we need to be like this. If we got somebody we want to pray for, woo! Here, give me that cry. Man, I got the source right here. Here, take it. The flow through Him. This is where we mess up. This is where I messed up a time or two back in the past. Boy, you're doing a great job. Boy, you're doing a good job, and keep it up. And you're like, well, I tell you what, it did come out good today, didn't it? It's not Aaron Walker. It's Him. It's His anointing. It ain't nothing that I've done. I'm filthy rags in front of Him. I'm still filthy rags in front of Him. But through the blood of Jesus Christ, and where I accepted His blood so many years back, boys, and I'm a Christian now. Now I am spotless through Him. When I'm walking down anointing and letting that flow come, that during them times when we're that way, we're spotless people. Because the anointing won't be where there's spots. When you're walking in His anointing at that moment, at that time, I've seen this praise team get up here and sing, and the anointing come out of them speakers, and it's flowing in the sanctuary because at that time they are obedient and letting the flow come through them. Good word. And who gets to eat of it? We do. We do. By just a simple singing a song. But don't stop right there either. Stopping at the grocery store to pray with somebody. Stopping at the gas station to buy that biscuit every day. Say, come to church with me, son. When you go to work and that fellow co-worker's having a bad day, you know he's having a bad day because it's all over Facebook. When you walk in, you know what happened to the guy. You know he's down on his luck. Don't go in and talk about the problem. So this is how we're going to fix it. He's going to fix it. That's the one good thing that Facebook is right there to me. That sometimes I talk up to somebody, I already know what's going on. But He does too. He does too. Well, I went way down the list without looking at my notes. I love this part. kept breaking. And he knew when Bubba in the back had his belly full. He knows Sherry when it was all filled up. He didn't stop. Even though there was enough. My friends, that's just what it is in our life every day. This thing is aggravating me to death. Get behind a second. Can you hear me? It feels like I got something in my ear. He kept breaking. He kept breaking. Aren't you glad that Christ, He loves overflow in your life? Didn't David say that my cup runneth over?
Yeah, come on.
You know what? There's a lot that happens in that overflow.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. It's not just a blessing. It cleanses you. As one day, he gave me an illustration. And when we cooked breakfast, me and Marcia gets together, we cooked breakfast and we shared. And with my OCD, I like my eggs a certain way. Thank God that my wife is understanding of that. But I always do the eggs. She'll fry the meat up, fix potatoes, whatever else I need. But when it comes to eggs, I'm a little bit OCD how my eggs are. I like them a certain way. Anyway, when I get done, I always scramble my eggs and I use that glass. And I used to, I would stick it underneath the faucet and pour water in it, and it rise up a little bit, and I would cut it off. Well, then I would have to go back after it softened up, dump it out, scrub it out and everything. That is one day I got busy doing something else, so I put that glass there, hit that faucet, and you know how you got eggs. Everyone knows how when you got eggs, how that stick and everything. And I mixed my pepper and everything in before I dumped the skill. So it was nasty. Well, I cut that faucet on, I was over here doing something else at the stove, and walked back to the house for a minute. And I come back and I went to get that glass, Brother Jason, out of that sink, and I was looking. It was clear as a bed. You see, when that overflow comes in our lives, and this is the thing right here, when He's pouring into us, we want to take our container out of it. Because we can feel ourselves getting filled up, and we can feel ourselves feeling all bubbly. But you know what, Kathy? He wants more than that in your life. He wants more than you to feel bubbly. He wants more than you just to feel good for 5 minutes. He wants you to feel secure and confident and know who He is and trust in Him. He wants full control of it. So what's to do? When our lid is cracked open, He pours Himself in us as much as we can, and then we want to take ourselves out of the flow. Shame on us. Yeah. We should have the attitude that we want to stay in the flow as long as the flow is coming. But let me tell you something right now. If we were smart enough and we let the light bulb go off, we would just stand right in the flow and let it pour all over us all the time. Because when it comes in, Kathy, it cleans you up and it gets rid of the junk. Well, a lot of times we put the cap back on, Michael, or we remove ourselves before we are totally clean. What we're dealing with in our lives. And it can be anything. This is the thing too. When it starts flowing, what we talked about a few minutes ago, how we're a flow piece. It comes out of our hands. And them ones that we're praying about, them family members that are in drugs and alcohol, or they're lost, and them family members that needs a job, or the family member we keep praying for our community. But if we will stay in the flow just a little bit, it will flow through us, it will flow in our brothers, it will flow in our sisters, it will flow back into our families, it will pour into your community, and it will flow everywhere you're at. If we are willing to stay in the flow. We have to be willing to stay in that flow. He commanded them to go get in the boat. They gathered up the 12 baskets, and they gathered them all up, and they packed them to the boat. He pretty well, he ordered, he said, get in the boat and go to the other side. Now listen now, we know what's coming, right? Christ knows what he is exactly doing, Brother Jason. He has put them into the boat, heading straight for the storm. Now, do you think it's just curiosity that they gathered them baskets up and put them in the boat with them? Because, think about now, they're leftovers. People's ate on them. It all got mixed together when they throw it all together. It's probably stinking. It's not worth eating. They're not packing it, people, to be eaten. They put it in, he puts it in the boat, Sherry, and they start going out into the boat. And what happens is that there's a great storm, the Bible says, that comes up on them, and they're out there and they're scared to death. Sometimes, tell your future about your past. Tell your future about your past. Because when you are in a storm, you have to tell yourself of where you've been and where you've come from. Because the unknown will scare you to death, won't it? When you go to the doctor's office, they tell you when you got this or that. Or you go and you get home and there's a telephone call saying, well, this is broke down, I'm broke down, come get me. And the unknown scares you to death. But don't forget about the 12 baskets now you put in your boat. Don't forget about what he's already done for you. Don't forget about where you've been and now you are. You see, there's a point in our life where we're scared to lose what we got. We can't live like that. We got to know and be secure that, hey, if I lost it all today, I'll get it back tomorrow because greater is he that's in me that's in the world. Look at Job. Was Job worried about it when he lost everything? No. We live in fear in today's times because we're scared to death to lose what we got. We're scared to death to lose what's in our bank account. We're scared to death to lose our home. We're scared to death to lose our job. Well, let me ask you this here, church. Is anybody in here truly suffering about getting by throughout the day? Yes, I know we struggle. Yes, I know the bank account don't match the checks we just wrote. We all go through that. But I'll tell you what, we're still breathing, and we're still here, and everybody's got nice clothes on. See, that's what the old adversary does to you. We want to grow. We say we want to grow. And we say we want to trust the Lord just a little bit. But we look at the storm and fail to look at what's in the boat with us. Because as that storm come, Brother Bill, and they was a rolling like this, and they was starting to get scared, Captain. Where's the baskets at? At their feet. Fell on the sea. What he just did. People, he just fed 5,000 or 20,000 people with what he had. And they experienced it. And now they are scared to death. But you know what? He is the same God on land, then in sea, and even he created the storm. He makes the storm. And this is the thing that we don't, this right here is what he's going to take you to. This is why he wants you to focus on him. Because through the storm, you're going to grow. Through the storm, you're going to rise. The people that was over there burping on what they just ate wasn't experiencing what the 12 was experiencing. But what it was going to do was take them to a new, higher level because the storm was a test. And I thought about Brother Gabe. I'm sorry, I know they're going to record that, don't they? I thought about Brother Gabe right here. I forgot about Sunday Pastor. You're on the TV. That's why I don't preach on Sunday. Bless you, brother. Sorry for people out there who don't have now, if I get the crowd back, that was the climax of the message, the finale, Kathy. Woo, where was we at? Oh, yes. I thought about Gabe right here. Can you imagine everything that boy worked for? And it comes down to one test. One test. Everything he worked for, everything he's worked for, I'm sure that boy's been through it because I know there have been times I said, Gabe, let's go here, let's go there, let's go do this. I can't, son. I can't. For years I heard that from that boy. I can't. All that he gave up because he's trying to work. He's on God's path. He's meant to be where he's going to be. He thinks he's going to. Now, I know he knows this, so Gabe, don't take this wrong. But, we all think this is all prosperity, this family. No. You think about the lives that boy's going to touch that doctor's office. When people go in there, they're going to get more than just a prescription, maybe, of a common cold. If they'll sit down and listen to the boy about 5 minutes, their whole life might be changed. But it comes down to one test that boy had to take. That's the way this storm was, these disciples. A test. A test. Pass or fail. Pass or fail. Because he tells them in Mark 6:52, he says, for they consider not the miracle of the loaves. After he walks up to them, in other words, he's telling them, hey, guys, you fail to look at what I've already done for you. And here you're in trouble. That's right there can be way 2019. If we want to live, March can be trouble for us. June, it could be trouble. January might be trouble. But you know what, though? If we will stay in his overflow, if we will stay and just do the simple things of willing to pass it out when it comes to us, when we're called upon, letting it flow through us, stay in the overflow. Let me tell you, 2019 will be a great year for us. Something else the Lord wanted me just to briefly touch on. I'm about to come to close, Pastor. You might be here today, you might be lost. You might be sitting there thinking, well, how do I fit in on this? Let me tell you something. Who's to say that God orchestrated all this just for you? As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and say it. He did orchestrate all this just for you. Brother Ralph preached such a beautiful message last time I heard him. It was last weekend, I think. And he was talking about Peter. His encounter, when Christ walked into his life. And Peter done all this demonstration for him about casting it on the other side and cast it over here and pull all these fishes in. You know what? That was for Peter. He done all that for Peter. Because do you know why? Let me ask you this, and I preached it once here before, but if you're busy, you didn't hear it. Do you know what held in the balance when he was witnessing to Peter? Think about it. What held into the balance? One of the front runners of the church. You go over to Rome, they built this huge thing. It's called St. Petersburg Basilica. Did I say it right? Look it up. A monster of a building, a tomb for Peter. How do you know that you're sitting here today and you're the next Peter? Think about it. He took this old boy out of the Sunday school room in the back of the country church. And my life of obedience, it took me a long time to get here. Working with him each and every day. He's still working on me. You know what? The day before I died, he's still going to be working.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get you this. How do you know that you're going to be the next best thing in this Christian walk we all have? You might be sitting on the blessing of being the next biggest singer, or you might have a Facebook ministry. You might be a great Sunday school teacher that's going to touch kids in this community. But we'll never know unless you decide to serve. Let me ask you this before I close. How about let's try it?
Yeah, there you go.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
All your life you've heard about it. All your life mom and dad, or you had a grandma that talked to you about it and you used to go see them. I remember my grandma, I was a terrible kid at times. I hear some of the tales, I'm like, is that me? And Marcia can tell you that. Every time I go to Glen Hayes Church and visit, man, he was a terror when he was little. Nobody doing with me. My grandma used to tell me, she said, that's the bad man on your shoulder, Aaron Walker. Let's try. Get over the fear to try. Let's just do it today. And I will say this to you. You'll never regret it that you tried. You can just play something soft for a minute and everybody stand. I like to ask Pastor Steve and Ralph, Kurt, come up here. Because you know what? You might feel comfortable with these men than you do me. We'll go all out. I'm telling you what, you raise your hand, we'll come to you. Let's try. Come on, let's try. Try. His time overflow, pour into you His blessings. He's hoping for that opportunity. But you got to be willing to take the lid off your container. You already hold all the keys. He already made your body where you can handle what's coming in. But you got to crack open the lid so you can pour into it. Come on. You thought about it. You have. You're talking about a great Christmas present. You're talking about a Christmas present that has all the warranty in the world. You'll never have to take it back. You'll never want to take it back. Come on. Can you do that today? We won't go at you. We won't go at you. If you say, well, Brother Aaron, I'm just thinking about it right now, and the unknown, I'm uncertain about it, but now this won't save you, but if you want to raise your hand and have these brothers pray for you, it's looking, you can do that. Raise your hand and just say, remember me, brother, that I'll be strong enough to. You know what? That's a starting point. That's something that you acknowledge, say, well, Lord, work on me. I might not be there right now, Lord, but work on me just a little bit. Are you willing to do that? Just raise your hand. Anybody? Bless that hand. Bless that hand. He sees you, sissy. He sees you. He's seen your hand go up. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody? You know what? I'll say this before I do sit down. Just as easy it is to lift your hand, He'll save you. He'll save you. You don't even have to come up here where we're at. You just say, I want the Lord in my life. He's right there with you. It's that simple. Anybody else? I'm going to ask the church something. Do we want 2019 to be better than 2018? Raise your hand. Yeah. Let's give him a hand today.
Have you enjoyed yourself today? I ain't give us a message that God wants to pour into us, that we can pour into others. Brother Aaron give you a message, and they started out in the desert. They started out in a place in their life where they was hot, uncomfortable. But he said, I want to give you rest. God says, all you that are burdened and heavy laden, He said, I want to give you rest. But then as God began to break the bread and started pouring in, He said, go sit down on green grass. God wants to change the place that you're in. I've never seen green grass in the desert. I've never seen a lot of things that God does, but He does them. I don't understand how He does them, but He does them. Because He wants to change you from where you're at to a better place. Ain't it good that we can come to His house and worship Him and lift Him up and change our whole life? We don't have to walk in those places that we're walking in. God wants to change those places. Where you leave today, you still should change your life. Brother Aaron said God wants to pour into you. Allow God to pour into you. that your life will be changed. Love you all. Love my family. Come back and be with us.
A young man by the name of D.L. Moody, when he was just a young man, heard a minister preach, and he said, "The world has not seen, nor has it experienced, what could happen to a man that is totally sold out to God, and what God could do through that individual." D.L. Moody heard that sermon. He said, "By the grace of God, I want to be that man." Well, he made a big impact in the United States. One man with God can make a huge impact. That might be you. It took dedication and obedience. I got a word for you today before we change this service. But I'm going to need a couple people to help me. And what I want to tell you is embrace the moment. You don't know, and I don't know what the next few moments, I don't know what tomorrow, I don't know. I saw in just the last few weeks how something can go from perfectly whole to not even there in a day. In a day. Whether it be a person, or whether it be a building, or whether it be an automobile, or whatever it may be. A mother and a grandmother and a child pull out of their house, and in just a few moments, they're no longer here. A building that was as strong as any building, within moments is burnt to the ground. A man that was healthy and whole in just 2 weeks' time is laying in a cemetery. Embrace the moment that you have right now. The person that is beside you is important. We've got a couple people here that's going to help me illustrate something for just a moment, because I don't want to leave this altar service. Bob, can you come up here for just a minute? And I need you to stand right here, and I want to show you something. If I can, and I'll use these. Eddie, I need you to come up here. Come on up here. I need you right here. I need you right here. You see, I don't want to call them strangers. They're family, but a lot of you folks don't know these people. This is Bobby Williamson. He's been here at church quite a bit. He's got a great story to tell of where he was. Can I have a moment with you, please?
Come on.
This man had it all. He had a great family. He had a great church. He had a great beginning. Is this okay? And he gave it away. He said, "I trade that for the junk of the world, because I'll always have another opportunity." I dare say, Josh, he's had a lot of friends that don't have an opportunity, but God graciously gave him another opportunity. And he's came back to the fold, and he's part of he's a King's kid now. Again. But he's in Roanoke, Virginia. What's he going to do here? He's going to speak the word in Roanoke, Virginia. God's big, guys. And here's what I want to show you. You see over here? You all don't know Eddie, do you? He's in Detroit. Close to it, right? Can any good come out of Detroit?
Yeah.
I don't see nothing else.
No. Something great comes out of Detroit. This man's packing the Word of God with him. This man goes into places that man, you wouldn't go in. This man takes the Word of God to people that looks like there's no hope in their life. But he takes the Word of God and he embraces these people. In Detroit, Michigan, or Roanoke, Virginia, or Fort Gay, West Virginia, we got a Word, and it's a word of reconciliation, and we need to speak it to everybody. They're dying. And tomorrow might be their last day. Today might be their last day. Embrace that moment. Somebody in this building threw their hand up and said, "I want to be a Christian." Today's your day. Somebody did throw their hand up, but today's still your day. We're going to go on with an altar service. We're going to ask you, please come. Please come. You didn't miss it. You didn't miss it. You didn't miss it. It don't matter if it's coming from Roanoke or Detroit. The Word is the Word. That's how God stretches people. And these two people don't know each other. Have you ever met him? You ever met him? Go get him, go get him, go get him. Look here. That's what I'm talking about. Why don't you come up and party, man? Come on. Come on, this is your day. 2019's enough, so I didn't tell you could leave. Did you hear, Aaron? There's order here. They love me. They love me. They do. They do. They do. And they got my back. But God's got our back. Would you bow your heads, guys? I'm telling you. I don't want you to walk out of here lost. And you don't either. You really don't. Your heart right now is telling you, this is my time. I saw it in your face, and I feel it in the spirit. And it's not just one. And you don't know if you're going to make it back. Come. 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 Or just point at one of these boys and they'll come to you. You don't have to come up here. But I tell you what, when the Holy Ghost and the Spirit of God comes upon you, you're not ashamed. And that's Him dealing with you right now. Your family, you're among family. I want to tell you that you're among family. We're not here to judge, we're here to embrace. We don't want to miss another opportunity. Because we may not have many more. Aren't you glad for a God of reconciliation when it seems like there is no way? It doesn't matter whether it's your life or your children or your marriage or your finances. God reconciles it. When it looks like there's no way, well, it's not hopeless right now, guys. God loves you. Come. Boys, you can step down. You can step down. And I'm telling you what, if you need to grab a hold of the Lord, we got people here. That's just from one end to the other. I thought that was so ironic the way God, so justly the way God puts that. I've got people everywhere. Everywhere. Elijah said, I'm all alone, buddy. I've got thousands that's never bound to me with me. They're everywhere, guys. Amen. Amen. Thank you, guys. Brother Aaron, that's just an awesome word. Thank you so much for that word. I am so glad. That he's part of our family and that he's ministering in this place, and I'm thankful that I'm a conduit. And I know the Holy Spirit can flow through us. I don't want to be a container. I want to be a conduit. I don't want to be a sponge. I want to be squeezed. Amen. Coming up Monday. This Monday, of course, will be the 31st, and Monday night at midnight will kick off the Bible reading in Kentucky. 72 hours straight of nothing but the Word of God being read on a continual basis. We've got a couple scriptures that's been put on the heart of Brother Tim that I think are just appropriate for this. Which one you got first, Megan? The Hebrew? Look at this. Because people ask me, so what's all that? Robert, what's going on over there? I said, they're reading the Word. What do you mean reading the Word? You get in there, you've got a mic, you've got a stool, you've got a Bible, and you read the Word of God. Who you reading it to? Everybody that's listening, everybody driving up and down the road. And I know this one thing, Brother Brady, that His Word is truth. And that His promises are yea and amen. And it says the Word of God is what? Quick and it's powerful and sharp as any two-edged sword, piercing even the dividing of the sunder of the soul and the spirit. Do you have to see this to believe this? I believe they're reading sometimes and somebody drives by and they hear that word and the word does what it says it's going to do. Whether I see it or not, His word is effective. Asunder the soul and the spirit, and the joints of the marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and the intents of the heart. The word gets in there where I can't get in there, Sister Betty. It gets in there where I can't get in there. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in His sight. Oh my God. He sees it all. Amen. Woo! And all things are naked and open unto the eyes of Him with whom we have to do. Don't be frightened by that. Let's rejoice in that. He knows me. He knows me and He loves me. And He wishes to change me. Next scriptures, and we'll quit. We'll quit maybe in a minute. For my thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are my ways, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. We know that, don't we? But let's read on. And as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are the way my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So I'm going to rely on somebody that's way ahead of me, that's way higher than me, that thinks better than I am, whose ways are greater than I can even anticipate. That's the one I want to. Is that the one you want to listen to? Okay. Get just two more, and I'll shut up. For as the rain cometh down, maybe two more, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not hither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater. Listen to this. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. This is God speaking. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing wheresoever I send it. How many can amen this part that you can be driving down the middle of the road and a song come on, or a word come on, or just God brings the Spirit of His Word and it changes your whole day? Sometimes I think people are texting, but I believe it's God speaking to them. They're all over the road. Woo! Praise the Lord. God gets a hold of us and changes our direction. Is that all I got? Not good. Is that all I got? Praise the Lord. Anyway, that's happening starting Monday night at midnight. We have people in this church that are, I'm going to use the word captains, people that are over groups that are reading in that, who may, how many people in here has got a team? I know Brother Tim's got one. Marilyn's got one. Sherry's got one. Do you need people to read? Do you need people to read? Do you need people to read? If you want to be a reader, be involved in this. Get the word out. Do your part. Get with Sister Sherry or Brother Tim, and they'll write you down in the slot at the church. Is that okay? Be a part of it, guys. If you've never done it before, it only takes about 15 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes. And if you've never read the Word of God in the middle of Louisa at 2 o'clock in the morning, it is awesome. I'm telling you, it is awesome. Try it. Try it. Listen, boys, if they can get up from Marbone and drive all the way to Louisa to read for 15 minutes at 2 o'clock in the morning, we can, can't we? And some of us in Martin County, do we have anybody in Martin County that's got a team? I know, have you got a team? You're reading, but you don't have, okay. So if you're in the Martin County area, they're doing it there any place in Kentucky, any county in Kentucky. So shoot, if you want to, and they're booked over here, go to Frankfurt or something. I don't know. But get in there and start reading. Last thing, well, not the last thing, we want to say, first of all, happy birthday to Debbie Z. Today's her birthday. Happy birthday, Debbie.